Order. If you'll all please rise for the invocation. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation will be given by Councilman Jimmy Conyers.
All right. Y'all please bow your heads. Gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this day, for our friends, our families, and the many blessings you've given us. We thank you and for the safety of the students from Channelville High School Marching Band from Texas. Thank you for looking after them and keeping them safe and reuniting them with their families. We pray for the family of the bus driver as well that was killed in that tragic accident. And we thank you for the opportunity for the citizens of Fairhope to be such a comforting piece to those individuals during a very difficult time. Also, especially want to thank you for the men and women who work for the city of Fairhope, who put in a lot of extra hours to make this upcoming weekend a tremendous success. And we just pray that you look after everyone, keep them safe, and thank you again for the many blessings in our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Councilman Conyers. I hope that you share the story of your highlight in D.C. this week a little later. And I'll ask before if you washed your hand yet. Of course not. Remember that, folks. Okay, a little bookkeeping here. I'd like to ask to walk two items onto the agenda. This was at the request of a couple of council members, one of them, and then the other was, I believe, asked to be on the next agenda, maybe on the next work session. We're going to try to push that up. And the first item would be a resolution authorizing an increase in the amount of the fire department budget by the amount of $50,000. They're about $22.5 over budget right now, Council, because of repairs needed to their fire engines due to some inspections, and they still lack a few inspections, and that would cover the cost of those inspections and hopefully any needed repairs. So the resolution says to increase its amount by $50,000 as necessary to be used for truck inspections and repairs only. The second item that I've been asked to add to the agenda is a resolution authorizing payment by the city treasurer to our city attorney from an invoice dated March 5th, 2018, in an amount of $20,080.92. Also, I would like to move, if I may, because I see quite a few ESRT t-shirts out in the audience, and that is item
10. No, it's not.
That was item 19, and I'd like to amend the agenda to move that up to, let's call it, let's move it up to item 9. We should be able to get to that pretty quick, and that way people can get back to doing homework or get back to family or whatever it is, better than being at this council meeting probably. So with that, I will ask for a resolution to amend the agenda as I've stated. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a second? We have a motion and a second? Okay, discussion? Okay, hearing none, all is in favor of amending the agenda by adding the two resolutions and moving up the one agenda item, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, agenda is amended. Okay, first order of business is to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting, the work session, and the agenda meetings which are held on February the 26th. Council, do you have any recommended changes, additions, deletions to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a seconded to approve the minutes as submitted. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, minutes are approved. Thank you, Council. Mayor Wilson, your report, please.
Thank you, Council President Burrell. We had our first director roundtable. We're going to start doing that the hour before a work session. Normally the work session is at 4:30, so we're going to have a live stream at 3:30, just a deeper dive into each department and what we're doing in the city. We are going to do kind of a recap of what we do at our supervisor meetings. You're welcome to attend this or live stream on Facebook. It will also be available on the website after that. Also, if you want reminders of all meetings, please sign up for our Everbridge on the website. It is really working out well. It tells you not only what's going on in the city, but also community events. So, okay, Jack, Jimmy, and I were in Washington this last week and had an opportunity to speak to some of our representatives. There are a number of big issues which are on their agenda for approval in the forthcoming weeks. And that made us feel really accomplished that those things were on our list, and we were able to get everything done for the city of Fairhope in a matter of a couple hours. So you're welcome. Well, I'll start sharing more details on that, but it's a lot of good news. In my last council meeting, I discussed public safety and that it's paramount for the community of Fairhope. Today's world is changing, and as the fastest growing city in the state, there is a need, I believe, for a public safety director. And Tony Gabil is a great choice for this position. But I do understand other people would like to have input and want to hear them out. I want to hear them out and come to a mutually agreed upon decision. I am withdrawing Mr. Gabil's name until a new organizational chart can be developed and approved with council. And I appreciate meeting with a few of them, and I'm trying to meet with all of them in the next week or so. But they were very positive meetings and very positive meeting with Chief as well. When I came into office, I learned that Fairhope had exactly 3 weeks to meet the deadline for applying for Restore Act money. In order to apply, we had to have specific projects laid out and write grants proposed for each project. I started from the beginning and gathered together our skilled staff and local talent to define and design priorities. We just made the deadline for Bucket 1 when Bucket 3 deadline approached, maybe a month later. There was a change in Bucket 3 funding that waived the 25% infrastructure cap, which allowed for sewer upgrades as it related to clean water. I asked the Restore Council to consider opening up opportunities for municipalities in the area that hadn't put in proposals yet, Fairhope being one of them. But they all agreed, and it really paid off for the city of Fairhope, and it also paid off for a lot of municipalities. This allowed not only ours, but we received $10 million for our sewer upgrades, phase 1, and $1 million for a study for the whole Eastern Shore for overflow. It really is monumental, and it's going to be, I hope, that will save the health of our bay for the future. As many of you already know, the city of Fairhope received unanimously approval on the 4 proposed projects totaling $17.8 million. This is money that does not have to be matched, and we hope to have funding by the end of the year. Of course, deadlines always change, but that's what our hope is. And we have a lot of work to do between now and when it starts getting funded. And we'll be very busy making sure that these projects are handled with a lot of care. And we're just going to be good stewards of these funds because they are a gift. I'm just going to tell you briefly. I'm going to be updating on Facebook and the website and email detailed information on each project. But one of them is a working waterfront green space restoration at our municipal pier, and it's a 3-year project, an amount of $6.2 million. The Fairhope Sewer Upgrade Phase 1 is a 5-year project for $10 million. Eastern Shore Sanitary Sewer Overflow Prevention Plan, which will be a comprehensive, sustainable water quality plan for the whole Eastern Shore, is a 3-year project for $1 million. And my favorite, but is the least amount of money, but it's to me going to be really transformative for Fairhope and hopefully change the course for the positive for the future of Fairhope, is the Fairhope Area Community-Based Comprehensive Land Use Plan. This will be a 2-year project that will be truly citizen engaged, and it's something that really was very important to me when I ran, and I am just very thankful that we got the funds to do this and do it right. So thank you, and that's all.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson. Public participation for agenda items. If you would like to speak to agenda items 5 through now 21, I would ask you to please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record. These, once again, are for agenda items only. You will be given 3 minutes. So I'll open the floor.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. I live on Miller Street.
Can I get your name, sir? For the record.
Reverend Larry Williams.
Okay.
Thank you, Jack.
Yes, sir.
I have somewhat knowledge in the trouble that they have with substations. Right now, the city of Fairhope have a lot of problems with their substations. They get a lot of calls in from citizens about the odor. Now, I live off of Young Street, on Miller Street, which would be the west side on Miller Street, approximately 50 yards from Young Street. We have a church, historical church, that sits on the corner of Young and Miller. I cannot see a substation going up in my community. I cannot see it. We are putting something down, and it's been going on for all my life. Things showing up in my community, with my community not even having a voice to say whether they want that there or not. Is this going to be, we're going to do what we want to do, or we going to listen to the voice of the citizens? I'm quite sure there was a lot of votes that went to each one of you all by citizens because they felt and they feel that you're going to make them aware of things before you do it. I thank y'all for having the time and giving me the time to speak. God bless Fairhope and God bless America.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Reverend Williams. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing no one else, I'll close public participation. Remind you that there is another opportunity at the end of tonight's meeting to address the council on items that are not on the agenda. We'll move on to council comments. Councilman Robinson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Council President. I want to start by reminding everybody, if they didn't see everybody when they came in, tomorrow is the start of Arts and Crafts Festival. Kicks off at around 9:45, I think, are the opening ceremonies. And they're starting up. They started setting up, I think, at about 6 o'clock, so they should be well into it by the time we get out of here tonight. The second thing I want to talk about is something the mayor touched on about public safety. Councilman Conyers and I had what I would consider to be a very productive meeting with the mayor last week to discuss this potential new position and just public safety in general. And I think it's fair to say that everybody sitting up here thinks that public safety is a concern and something that we should all be thinking about constantly, and it's a worry that we all have. But I also think it's appropriate that we stay or pause any new public safety positions until a time that the council and the mayor have had the opportunity to collaborate on what everyone's primary priorities and concerns are as it relates to that. But most importantly, I think it's imperative that we discuss those priorities and concerns with our chief of police to find out what his needs are for his department and find out and make sure that we are giving him all of the resources that he needs to do his job to the best of his ability. You know, I have the utmost respect for Chief Pettis, and I have the utmost confidence in him. And I know that I think the way that we're handling this right now is the best way to move the city forward. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Councilman Conyers?
I would like to echo what Councilman Robinson said. We had a very productive meeting last week, and to add to that, Council President Burrell, Mayor Wilson, and I were all in Washington, D.C., letting our federal representatives know all the great things about Fairhope, what they didn't know, and then asking for money to try to plug some of the holes on some of the items that we need funded above and beyond what we received in the Restore Act money. But congratulations, by the way, Mayor, for getting unanimous support on all 4 of those projects. I felt like we had a very productive trip to D.C., productive meeting last week, and things, sometimes it's complicated when you're in politics and trying to sort through things, but you can always make progress. Doesn't matter if it's a year and a half into term. We seem to be headed in a good direction. I felt good about that. Love seeing all the ESRT kids out here tonight. I'm glad y'all got bumped up in the agenda, but you're getting a chance to spend a few minutes seeing what municipal government's all about. So that's a good experience, and glad to see y'all out here supporting Miss Aaron. So I guess that's all I've got today.
You're not going to tell why you didn't wash your hand?
Well, if everybody wants to know why I didn't wash my hand, we were walking out of the Senate building after meeting with Senator Jones' staff, and while Jack was busy holding the door open for everyone like a gentleman, I was outside shaking hands with Jennifer Garner, the actress, getting to meet her, and I think we're fast friends now, I'm sure.
But it was even better than that.
I had my back to them and didn't see who was going in, and I heard Jimmy say, Jennifer Garner, and she said, yes, and he said, Jimmy Conyers, nice to meet you, and I got my back. Man, what's going on back there? Anyway.
She said, very nice to meet you.
He said it was the highlight of his trip.
That's right.
Nicely done, Jimmy.
Oh, well.
Councilman Brown, your comments, please.
Thank you, Council President. I also want to congratulate the mayor on the Restore Act, and glad to hear that she is pulling the hire of Tony Gubil off of the table. What concerns me is the manner in which it was done. It kind of was proposed last meeting. None of the council, the police chief, were unaware of this hire. Nobody was ever consulted, as far as I know, about the proposed hiring of a public safety director. So I'm curious, who did you consult before announcing that hire at the council meeting last month?
What I have planned to do and talked with Jay and Jimmy is to talk about the hiring process in general and how it needs to be more open to the public. And with any hire that I have done since I've taken office, I have hired based on critical needs of the city. And oftentimes, the needs of the city may not necessarily match the title. And the perfect example of that is Lynn Mazer, who is the assistant to HR and also city clerk. But as you can see, she's evolved into a huge, asset to the city and has done a lot for the city. And we all do. I mean, everybody that's hired in the city fills a critical need. And I think I'm very proud of the hires I've made so far. A lot of them are lining the back wall, and I stand by my hire. I want to move forward in a positive way, and I'm
And
thankful that.
so do I, and that's why I bring this up, because we have rules and procedures that are in place.
And the rules and procedures have not been, in the past, been done too, so that's what we want to
Well,
move. And
we can talk
and
about that
we're
later,
trying to
but-
do this in a setting that is positive for the community as well.
You still didn't answer my question. Who did you consult before announcing that hire at the last council meeting?
The personnel attorney and Matt, and
And they told you to announce it at the council meeting, even though there wasn't a position for him to be filled in?
I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't have a conversation after I talked to them. But this is one of the things that the citizens I know will appreciate, that when we try to do things in a positive way for them. And that's what we're trying to do. So,
The citizens that I've talked to are pretty upset in the manner in which it was announced.
I also
without
said
knowing.
that if
So-
I didn't want to be put in a position to try to give all the examples of why I did it. I wanted to do it in a way that we came together and it was really listened to, because the budget cuts that were made were things that you and you know, Councilman Burrell didn't really listen to, and y'all were the really ones that only talked about the budget. I didn't have that opportunity with the other councilmen. So it's all about communication, and it's on both sides, and I'm happy that, you know, most seem to want to move forward in a positive way.
Go ahead with your comments, Councilman Brown.
That's it.
Councilman Boone?
Well, actually, mine's more of a setting the record straight. As everyone knows, I don't read social media or anything else concerning Facebook, but it has been brought to my attention that Mr. Paul Ripp decided to write back on me and the LLCs I once was a member of. I don't quite understand what his problem with it is, but what Mr. Ripp fails to let everyone know is that I have not been a member of any LLC since 2010, and the one that he's writing about, which is Northridge LLC, I got out of that LLC back in April 12th of 2010. And it would seem appropriate that if Mr. Ripp were to write these reports, he would write that also into his report, that no money has been made, there's never been a problem with any of them, there's never been anything done or illegal activities done with them, and that my membership in these activities or these LLCs were shut down or stopped as of 2010, which was 8 years ago. But I'll have to, in my opinion, if people want to read this drivel that Mr. Ripp wants to put out, y'all might want to look and verify his information, considering he is very used to not putting in all the facts to his comments. So that's all I really had to have. Say.
Thank you, Councilman Boone. I have a few comments. I want to say that I think we did have a productive trip to Washington, D.C. The first part of this week. We did meet with both of our senators' staff, met with Senator Shelby once, met with Congressman Byrne on a couple of occasions, and had some very good conversations with them. They are politicians, so they will tell you that they're there to help you, and I'm certain that they'll try, but like us, we can't deliver, you know, everything to everybody. So they get a lot of people up there with their hands out, but like everybody else, we went up there and asked for our fair share as well, and we approached them with several projects, and hopefully that will pay off in the future. Secondly, the second item is I want to invite Joey Levitt up to the podium. He's with the Fairhope Volunteer Fire Department, and he has an event which he wants to share with everyone.
Thanks, President Burrell. I just want to announce that April 7th, we'll be hosting our second annual barbecue cook-off, and that'll be Saturday in the streets by Equality in Bancroft. So I wanted to announce that and invite everybody over. Also offering y'all to be our judges again. So if y'all are interested in that option is open. We do still have a lot of memberships that, sponsorships that can still be purchased, and we still have rooms for cook teams. So y'all can contact us at the fire department if y'all are interested. Tickets are $30, and cook teams are $300. So I just want to announce that to y'all.
Okay.
Thanks.
Joey, I accept eating ribs and being a judge.
I second.
Lastly, I just want to touch on the mayor's comments about delaying or foregoing the hiring of the police position that she announced at the last council meeting that was going to be filled. I'm glad that you've come to that conclusion, Mayor. I think that the chief of police and the council and the citizens appreciate the fact that you're going to solicit more input on that. I also had concerns over whether or not the hiring policies and procedures of the city were being followed. I had questions of whether or not, and I want to stop short of saying the position of sergeant was not budgeted, because I'm not certain. I've heard that it was and I've heard that it wasn't, but this council would make sure that before someone was paid for a position, that position was in the budget and that it was budgeted. And if we needed a budget, we could consider budgeting that. As for job descriptions, I think that it's something that the council needs to take on. You're exactly right that Ms. Mazur is a shining example of someone that does a job for which she is not serving under her current job description, and that's something that needs to be changed. The position needs to be created and filled, or it needs to be, in the current position for which she has a title, if that's not going to be used, needs to be unfunded or eliminated. And that goes for every position in the city. I do question whether or not you had the authority to create a hybrid position, whether or not that hybrid position included public safety director or not. I am not aware that that position existed in the city of Fairhope, and the council would need to approve that job description and fund that position if we were to go forward with that. So with that, I'll close council comments, and we will move on to item number 5, which is a resolution. The City Council approves the selection of Volkert Incorporated for professional engineering services. This is for rehabilitation of wastewater collection system, and hereby authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to negotiate the fee schedule. Council, you'll see under tab 5, or either on your MacBook or in your paper copies, the full description of this. This is suspected to be professional services for projects over $100,000. I'm sure if we have any questions, Mr. Peterson is here to answer any of those. And if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the selection.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the selection of Volkert for professional engineering services. Any discussion? I think we discussed this in great detail at the last work session. So, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the selection, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Item 6 is a resolution. The City of Fairhope accepts the Alabama Clean Vessel Act grant award from ADM and authorizes the mayor to serve as the authorized official who will sign pay requests and other grant-related documents on behalf of the city. And I believe this is in related to the pump-out station at the marina, as you'll see under tab 6 in your binder. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
to accept that
Second.
grant award. I have a motion and a second. Okay. Any discussion, council? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thanks, council. Item 7 is a resolution that certain items are declared surplus, and the mayor and city treasurer are hereby authorized and directed to dispose of personal property owned by the city of Fairhope by receiving bids and being sold to the highest bidder via GovDeals. I believe that's govdeals.com. You should see a list of those surplus items in your binder, council. 48 items described. Any questions of those? Okay, hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion to declare these surplus.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, they are declared surplus and can now be put on GovDeals. Item number 8 is a resolution the City of Fairhope vote to procure professional show design and fireworks for the City of Fairhope from Zambelli Fireworks with a cost not to exceed $15,000. And this is for the 4th of July fireworks display and I believe also it would be for the New Year's Eve fireworks show. Is that right? Would it cover both?
No. I think it's just the 4th of July.
It's only the 4th of July? Okay, is that in line with what we typically spend? That is, isn't it? Okay.
On budget.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to procure the fireworks. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, item 9 is the ESRT. There's not many people here for that, are there? Okay, council, I have a resolution that's written. Also, I passed out an application. It was edited and I'm going to kind of describe these costs and try to explain where we were coming from as it pertains to Ordinance 1575. The park rental fee of $150 per diem of $1,350. That's 9 days. That's pretty straightforward. And then the 50% nonprofit rate reduces that to $675. The additional hours, they have stated they will need 14 additional hours at a cost at $75 an hour or of $1,050. Reduce that by 50%. That comes down to $525. The electric water fee, there's a one-time charge of $50. And then the refundable cleanup deposit is $1,000 for a total of $2,250, and $1,000 of that is refundable. So the total out of pocket would be $1,250. Now this resolution, I had to change some numbers on there. I'll just read it. I'm not sure that you all have a copy of it, do you? Okay, it says, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Fairhope, Alabama, that the City Council hereby sets the park and street usage fees for Eastern Shore Repertory Theater for its April 29th to May 6th production of Newsies. Did I get that right? Newsies at Henry George Park. The park rental fee shall be it should be $675. That is $1,350 reduced by 50% for the nonprofit for the time frame requested. There should be a one-time electric/water fee of $50 and a $525 additional park usage fee, and a refundable $1,000 cleanup deposit paid to the city. Total balance due is $2,250. On presentation of payment to the city, all necessary permits for the use of Henry George Park shall be issued without delay. Furthermore, the City Council finds the following with regard to Eastern Shore Repertory Theater, hereinafter ESRT. ESRT provides funding and scholarships to national theater programs. ESRT provides need-based scholarships for non-ESRT members to attend summer theater camp for free. ESRT provides funding to students that cannot otherwise afford standard membership fees or costs. ESRT provides free tickets to the nonprofit's Girls Home Under His Wings. ESRT has donated a Bluff Scholarship for the Georgia Bird Fund, and ESRT sponsors a local community service project to clean the Fairhope Bluff area. Furthermore, as the proposed Disney production promotes the performing arts in our community and allows multiple opportunities for the youth of Fairhope to be part of the proposed Disney production, Council finds that ESRT serves a vital public purpose and benefit for the Fairhope community. As such, the City Council authorizes Councilmember Robert Brown to negotiate and execute a contract for the use and installation of all necessary barricades for our use at Henry George Park in exchange for the services it provides and continues to provide to the Fairhope community. Now, Council, the reason we put that last part in there is we don't have a fee schedule for barricades, but because they serve a public purpose, we're allowed to negotiate for the use of those, and we just chose Robert for that. And so the application that you see that was handed out, the $2,250, $1,000 of that being refundable, would be the application that would be being approved as well. So I'll entertain a motion to approve this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just one thing, everybody needs to go out there and watch Newsies. It's going to be a fantastic show. I think they have their own stage. Right? Y'all have your own stage.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Sorry for the delay.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Council. If any of you want to leave now, we can pause for a minute or two while you leave the room, or you can stick around for the next 11 agenda items.
See you later.
Well, that's happening.
It's an educational experience, man.
It is on what not to do.
Quality.
It's crazy.
I'm gonna bring my kids up here sometime and make them sit in the meeting. Oh, I'm sure Jay Nick could be quiet for a while.
Jay Nick could, but
Are you kidding me? Yeah, exactly.
scream, "Hey, Daddy," and start waving at people in the back of the room. He does that during baseball games.
Jay Nick could be up front and center
Nick
talking.
would expect a speaking role.
Yeah, of course.
He would not be okay with
Margaret again came in when they said that he was circulating a petition at the playground.
He did, man. He had lunch with Principal Pearson and discussed it with her. It's legit.
Oh, man.
He's going to ask me how much money I owe.
What I think.
To put in towards this petition. He came over, he was pretty bummed out. He had the stink bug and the third grade bugs play.
Hey, council, while they're making their way out, I just want to point out that item 9 for the gas meters has been changed. I believe Lisa passed out an updated resolution. There was the wrong company name was listed on the resolution that is on your MacBook or in your binder if you have it, but you should have a hard copy of the correct one. The estimated cost was slightly incorrect. That's been corrected. And also the company name, and I'll read the correct version of this resolution if you don't mind. So item 9, now 10, I'm just going to keep calling it 9 so that we don't get confused on the numbers. Item 9 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope approves the procurement of gas meters with connections and regulators for the gas department for fiscal year 2018 to be purchased as needed from Elster American Meter Company, LLC, as sole source provider in the state of Alabama for Neptune Technology Group, Incorporated. The units must fit into our existing standardized system and are exempt from formal bid pursuant to Code of Alabama 1975. The estimated number of units is 450 gas meters and accessories at a not-to-exceed annual cost of $67,456.75. And I'll entertain a motion to approve this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the gas meters. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 10 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope approves the procurement of Neptune gas meter ERTs for the gas department for the fiscal year 2018 to be purchased as needed from Consolidated Pipe and Supply Company, Incorporated, as sole source provider in the state of Alabama for Neptune Technology Group, Incorporated. The units must fit into our existing standardized system and are exempt from formal bid pursuant to Code of Alabama 1975. The estimated number of units is 450 at 75 per unit at a not-to-exceed annual cost of $33,750. I'll entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you, council. Item 11 is a resolution that the City of Fairhope vote to purchase 4 vehicles. These are 2018 Chevy Tahoe SUVs for the police department. This type of vehicle needed is on the Alabama State Department of Purchasing bid list. Therefore, it does not have to be let out for bid. The total cost for 4 is $128,048.40, or $32,012.10 each. I will entertain a motion to approve this purchase.
So moved.
To move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the SUVs. Any further discussion?
60,000 under budget.
Very good. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Item 12 is a resolution the City of Fairhope vote to purchase 2 vehicles. These are 2018 Ford F-250 Crew Cab 4x2 pickup trucks for the water and sewer departments. The vehicles are available for direct procurement through the Alabama State Contract T-191A. Therefore, it does not have to be let out for bid. The total cost is $54,490. I will entertain a motion for these purchases.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, and these are slightly under bid, or under budget, I'm sorry, not under bid, under budget. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, Purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 13 is a resolution the City of Fairhope vote to purchase Kronos timekeeping systems, workforce management, version 8 software, and gold support for the IT department from Kronos Incorporated with a total cost of $6,148.80. This is not a particularly a line item, but is a part of the computer expense budget, so actually it is budgeted. So I will entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the Kronos timekeeping system, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. Purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 14 is a resolution the City of Fairhope hereby amends the budget for FY 2017 to 2018 as recommended and presented for streets capital purchases, vehicles, and equipment. This was Mr. Johnson in the work session discussed the needs for these trucks and having the very high mileage vehicles, and it only amounts to an additional funding of $387 to get those men and women of that department some vehicles that they can use. So I'll entertain a motion to amend the budget for these purchases.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just say I like the way Richard presented this and made a case for it. Was able to show that the net was $387. I appreciate the time.
Right.
Hey, when you can ask for 50,000 and disguise it as $387, that's pretty special. It was.
Okay. Any further discussion?
It is the truth.
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay. Motion passes. Item 15 is a site plan review at the request of Hutchinson, Moore, and Roush on behalf of Baldwin County Eastern Shore Hospital Board. This is a facility operated by Thomas Hospital Infirmary Health for approval of a parking lot addition at Thomas Hospital consisting of impervious parking surfaces covering 70.4% of the site located on the east side of Greeno Road.
And Council President, this item will add approximately 40, actually it'll add exactly 40 parking spots to the hospital site. Because of the zoning classification of the hospital, it requires both the zoning classification of the hospital as well as the impervious surface. It requires a site plan review, which is final approval by the City Council. Special thanks to Richard Johnson for helping me with evaluating the stormwater requirements. The low impact development requirements are present on this site, and both staff and the Planning Commission recommend approval.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Buford. Council, any questions? Any questions at all? Okay. Did you want to say something on that?
No, sir, I don't.
Wayne?
No,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the site plan.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the site plan. Any further discussion?
Happy for more parking.
Amen.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Okay, site plan is approved. Thank you, council. Item 16 is a site plan review at the request of Larry Smith with SE Civil Engineering on behalf of Fairhope Single Tax Corporation and John S. Wise III for approval of Bancroft and Pine Mixed-Use Development, a 22-unit project located at the southeast corner of the intersection of Bancroft Street and Pine Street at 106 North Bancroft Street, and approved contingent upon conditions recommended by the Planning Commission. Mr. Dias?
We've got a quick point of clarification. You just read 22. The sheet I'm looking at here on the agenda says 55. Okay.
Yeah, there's a typo, I believe, in
Okay.
the agenda item, and it's actually 22. You're right.
All right.
Council President, thank you very much. This is, again, a mixed-use facility. There'll be above residential, below commercial. There'll be 2 units of commercial below with a parking behind that. I believe there's 21 parking spaces provided. Also, there'll be some on-street parking for this particular mixed-use facility. It is in the CBD. It is Zone B2. We had the public hearing with the Planning Commission. They recommend approval, and staff concurs with that recommendation. Be glad to answer any questions.
So they comply with all, with everything having to do with all of our building requirements in the CBD, right? And they didn't ask for any changes to any of that, right?
They have not. This project kind of began before the height limit was changed, and so what they did, they requested the application to be amended as it went through to reflect that 40 feet. At the Planning Commission, there was some discussion regarding the neighbor who is abutting to the east. The property to the east is B2. The neighbor and her representative came to the meeting and was discussing what they felt like was a 10-foot required setback on the which would be the property abutting the adjoining development to this. That property is a single-family home that is built to the property line. I believe the eaves is on the property line. We have some photographs of that if we can show those. And this was proposed. This was discussed with staff. We did correspond with her representative. What we found is that if you look at the mixed-use facilities that Fairhope has had throughout the past 5 or 6 years, all those mixed-use facilities were looked at with a zero setback in the CBD area. If we were to accept the argument that was being made on behalf of the adjoining property owner, then all the mixed-use facilities we've approved of the past several years would have been non-compliant and therefore currently non-conforming. So what we have here is some regulations that aren't entirely clear to this fact, but past practices and past determinations and interpretations support the method that we have used to interpret this today. Now, admittedly, that language needs to be cleaned up, and we intend to bring forward an amendment to reflect those clarifications. But again, past practices, past interpretations, which we agree with and support the development as it's been presented and as it's been proposed to us.
Did these modifications, I'm looking at the letter to you from Mr. Smith, and they are asking for 4 changes there. And these were also approved by, these were approved by staff. Did this go to Planning Commission?
The changes that have been requested was a result of a discussion at the Planning Commission. There was some discussion by the neighboring property owner because the original mixed-use facility was going to be built very near the property line. There was concern about being able to construct this building without entering onto that neighboring property. And the current, the letter you have in your packet from Mr. Smith is asking for it to set back 3 feet. So the site plan will reflect 3 feet from the property line to allow the ability to work on the back side of this proposed mixed-use facility. And also the height is something that was discussed, and the changes that this kind of occurred midstream of these changes, and they want to take advantage of the height as well.
I don't blame them.
The other issue we mentioned as a condition, they wish to take advantage of cantilevering over the sidewalk, which we do commonly in Fairhope, and so that's one of the conditions that they get a hold harmless from the city regarding these balconies over the sidewalk. Those are done routinely. If you look downtown, it's a routine matter. Just some paperwork to clarify that and get that done correctly.
Council, you have any questions for Mr. Dias or the developer? I see the engineer is here, as is the developer. Did you want to say something, Mr. Smith?
I just wanted to clarify one thing. I think the letter states it correctly. Just want to, I know the agenda said 55, Wayne said 22. It's really 21 residential units and 2 commercial for a total of 23 units. So I just want to make sure when y'all approve it, it's approved correctly.
Yeah, could you make that change? Well, that makes your parking in compliance, doesn't it?
Yeah, we have 21 parking spaces, 21 residential units. That was the intent all along. It was just a mistype on the original site plan. So the application, everything had it correct. So just want to point that part out.
Okay. Questions, council? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the site plan.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, and that's 21-unit project. Okay, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the site plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, site plan is approved. Thank you, council. Item 17 is an application for a restaurant liquor license by Michael Lane for Cactus Cantina, doing business as Cactus Cantina of Fairhope, located at 108 North Section Street, Fairhope, Alabama. Chief, is this application in order?
Yes, sir, it is. I went over yesterday and kind of walked through the building, and they're thinking they're going to be open next Thursday, week from today.
I know they were pushing probably for this Thursday, weren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Council, I'll entertain a motion to approve this application.
At the front door.
I'll entertain a motion to approve this application.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the application, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And item 18 is an application for a nonprofit tax exempt license or an alcoholic beverage license by the Fairhope Volunteer Fire Department for the Fairhope Volunteer Fire Department Barbecue Cook-Off located on Equality Street between Section Street and Bancroft Street in Fairhope on April the 7th, 2018, from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Council, I'll have to warn you, if you agreed to judge this, I don't know if you can vote on this. You probably kept your mouth shut until after the vote, so might be up to us. I'll entertain a motion to approve this application. I'm assuming, Chief, it's all in order?
Yes, sir, it is. And I would just ask everyone, the citizen, everyone, to buy a ticket and go out. My son has hit me up to get two, and I told him as soon as he bring them by, I'll get them, because we need to support our volunteer fire department. They do a great job.
Absolutely.
All right. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the application. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, application is approved. Thank you, council. Item 19 has already been considered as we move that up the agenda. Item 20 involves the fire department budget. If I can find that. I'll read this resolution. I got it. It says, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Fairhope, Alabama, as follows, that the City of Fairhope amends the fire department budget to increase its amount by up to $50,000 as necessary to be used for truck inspections and repairs only. And as I stated, they have had quite a few overruns due to fire truck inspections and have gone over budget by $22,500, but they are coming back to ask for more money to cover that, and also to cover, I think they lack 2 or 3 more inspections and any necessary repairs, but the resolution is written says up to, so, and for the truck inspections and repairs. So they'd have to come back to us for any other items. So I would like to entertain a motion to amend their budget as written.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Mayor Wilson, that's what you brought up to me in D.C., correct? So we handled it, right? Yep. All right, very good. Okay, item number 21 involves payment of an invoice, and I'll read this resolution. Be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Fairhope, Alabama, that the City Council hereby authorizes the City Treasurer to pay the past and current invoices on account number 970161, dated invoice March 5th, 2018, in the amount of $20,080.92, submitted by the firm of Wilkins, Bankster, Biles, and Wynn. Additionally, the City Treasurer is authorized to approve and pay future invoices submitted by the firm of Wilkins, Bankster, Biles, and Wynn. I will entertain a motion to get
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Under discussion, I would say, Treasurer, it says you are authorized to approve and pay any future invoices. So if you have any questions on those, please bring them to council before paying said invoices. Okay? Any discussion or questions? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, resolution passes. Thank you, council. And lastly, public participation on non-agenda items. You will be given 3 minutes if you'll come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is John Manellis. I live at 104 White Avenue. First, I'd like to apologize for bringing something somewhat negative up tonight, particularly in light of Mayor Wilson's really phenomenal accomplishments in obtaining Restore Act funds that will certainly benefit all of the citizens of Fairhope. But having said that, there's an elephant in the room that's only been partially acknowledged this evening by Councilman Conyers, Robinson, and Brown. And I'd like to state this. After the mayor's firing of 2 department heads, Sherry Sullivan and Jennifer Fiddler, I addressed the City Council and the mayor about the effect all of this was having on the morale of the city employees. Subsequently, the mayor demoted the head of HR, who later filed suit in part for allegedly being assaulted by the mayor. This department head has since resigned. All three department heads have since brought lawsuits against the city for the mayor's actions. Now the citizens of Fairhope have read in the local paper that the chief of police has sent a letter to the mayor addressing his concerns about a hire being made that he was unaware of, and I think it's to be commended that that decision has been rethought and is being sought the advice of the council before that's moved forward. But reading that letter caused me great concern, as I think it did most of you, because in that letter, the chief stated that the morale of the city police department is the worst he has seen in 27 years of service. These are the men and women in blue who go out there and protect us every night and every day. Change for the sake of change is not necessarily a good thing. The mayor has done some very good things in bringing much-needed change to the city. But I would submit to you that the handling of these department heads in particular and the trickle-down effect that has on every single city employee who would be afraid to admit that to your face, I'm sure, but only common sense would tell you and dictate that that has an overarching effect on the morale of the city and creates an atmosphere of fear amongst city employees. Mayor, your responsibility is to lead the city employees, and I would suggest that you know, if everyone else is at fault, maybe the fault somewhere lies with how they have been led. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, and I don't go into detail about personnel issues, but I will say that one of the things that really needs to happen in the city of Fairhope is the fact that politics and personnel should not commingle. And there are lots of things that have happened in the last little over a year, but when you enter a 44-year-old administration, changes happen. And you can point the blame on me, and I'm happy to accept all the blame, you know, but I am a reform mayor, and I'm here to make this city the best that it can for the citizens. And I do think that we do need a administrative, basically a city administrator, maybe even entertain a city manager at some point. But a lot of cities have them, and it takes the politics out of personnel, which is what it should be. And as far as a sense of fear, I can tell you right now, when I entered office, that was one of the biggest things was fear. Nobody could speak up about anything. That was the consensus with everybody. Nobody was involved in decisions. Nobody was involved in the budget. Nobody was involved in anything. So whatever you might see from the surface, I can assure you that we've accomplished a lot. Morale is high, and I am meeting with the police department, because when I stay up at night about public safety, and it is on my shoulders, and I have tried to communicate with all the necessary people and trying to bring about the things that I need and that I want for citizens, and they've been ignored. That's when, you know, I welcome help and I welcome input, but I'm not getting it right now. So it's time to do that, and I appreciate your concern, and I'm going to do my very best to do a better job, but I'm not going to just ignore things when they're not being taken seriously. And I will never be that person. And there's a lot of change that's had to happen, and a lot of it has been extremely good. And there's a lot of things that I don't want to discuss in public because it just makes it more negative. And, but again, touching back on the city administrator or potentially a city manager, I think that's an excellent thing to look into. And a lot of cities that are smaller than us have one. And it's a big job, and personnel should absolutely fall under this because it really should not be in the papers all the time. Nobody should want that for their city employees. So.
Anyone else?
I'd like to make a correction. When I first spoke, I spoke about the sewage. But really, I was really speaking about electrical substations. Electric substations would take the value down of homes that are already built in that area. And I know that we have a lot of guys that's on the city council that knows about the value of properties and how much percentage it would take a home down, the value. Even that church sitting there, if they decide they want to go to the bank and get a loan, it would bring down the value of them being able to get the type of loan that they need. Now, that was where, right here on the corner of Nichols and Young, across the street where we have a substation, where River Area used to have their poles at. That's a good place for it. But I have nothing against anyone. But I must speak out for the voices of people, regardless of whether they race, color, creed. So I would like to be part of that decision making, a part of that team where they're going to place that substation at. If the city and the council will allow me to be part of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Wendy Solomon, 123 Sandy Ford. I don't want to end council session on the note from you. I think that there's a lot of positive things. I think if we look at the positive things, then we can really move forward. I think that the police chief, I even said something to him, it was refreshing to see that he stated in the paper that he had a great meeting with the mayor, and he's looking to resolve things and not contribute to the conflict. I feel like Jack, Jimmy, Jay, y'all had a great meeting. I think that's positive. The Restore Acts are positive. And I watched the department head meeting. I thought that was great. There's a lot of positive things going on there. So I think we have a lot of great positive things going for the city. And just to continue to work and focus on the positive and not focus on the negative, I think would really, really be a good thing. So anyhow, and Jay, there is a tennis ball vending machine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Floor is still open. Okay, seeing no one else, I'll close public participation and ask for a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, Councilman.